all night. Hey, Jill, what's the matter?
Man, this name change is stressing me out.
Everyone will know we still specialize in Medicare.
Yeah, I know that, but what about this?
Are you 64.com.
Celebrating 30 years with Richard Rogers. Happy 30th anniversary, Richard. Live from Augusta. You're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Good evening. Tonight's the night. North Augusta about to shine with a flip of the switch, Laura.
We are counting down. Santa is getting ready to come out any minute. We are going to count it down to Christmas here in North Augusta, but those temperatures are really dropping, Riley.
They are, Laura. We are expecting some of the coldest temperatures so far for the fall season. Later tonight, we'll have a look at that coming up in the forecast.
And also ahead, an issue touching so many families these days. We look at the rising threat of drug overdoses and deaths in our area. But we begin with a check of the weather and some freezing temps in store for us overnight as we get ready to light up North Augusta. Let's check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale.
Yeah, Richard.
Riley, thanks. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at a growing issue that impacts families all across the two-state. Since 2010, the Department of Health says opioid overdose-related deaths have been on the rise here in Georgia. About 2,500 Georgians lose their lives to a drug overdose every year. When you single out opioid deaths, the National Center for Drug Abuse says that's more than 1,400 people a year. Nearly 37,000 people in Georgia enter rehab every year. Taylor Martin looks at just how big the issue is and what leaders are doing about it.
The opioid crisis knows no boundaries. From Georgia to South Carolina, nearly 200 people have died this year from overdoses in Richmond and Aiken counties alone.
I lost my son, Austin, back in March, and his name is on this list, unfortunately.
In Richmond County, 87 people died from overdose, and in Aiken County, 84.
Addiction is just an insidious disease.
The Hale Foundation in Richmond County and Recovery Road in Aiken County are the only treatment centers of their kind in the area, with just 16 beds in Aiken and around 60 in Augusta.
More improvement, we need more homes, we need more people, because right now we're opening up a men's place. We have our grand opening tomorrow, and we're already full.
Whether inpatient or outpatient, experts are saying the impact isn't made in how the treatment is given, but instead how long.
Unfortunately, most people want to go for inpatient help, and inpatient is good, it's the best, it's wonderful, but it is hardly available anymore.
But in both counties, there are resources available.
I think we kind of lost traction after COVID, but I do think that we're on an uphill stretch to get better.
Leaders just think those struggling don't know where to start. Reporting in Augusta, Taylor Martin on your side.
And in today's opioid task force meeting, they talked about having recovery advocates on hand at local hospitals to connect with those people who've overdosed with the resources they need. Well, you'd think the problem would be worse for our young people, but our Will Rio found that data shows just the opposite. Tonight, the I-Team takes a deeper look at the crisis impacting our area.
Yeah, according to the Georgia Department of Public Health, fentanyl is Augusta-Richmond County's #1 killer of adults ages 30 to 50 years old. The DEA says it's 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. We constantly show you the number of overdoses in our area and tell you that they're only going up, but we often don't get to see the faces behind these statistics. Back in 2022, Alex King would have been 30 years old, and he died of a fentanyl overdose given to him by someone else. Clifton Bates was 24 years old. When he got prescriptions from the dentist, he eventually died of a fentanyl overdose. At a rally in Augusta, we learned the names of Andrew Vowell and Peyton Marsh, who both overdosed on fentanyl as well. Now, we had 2 different children die from fentanyl, including 1-year-old Alex Xavier that we covered multiple times. Now, our I-team looked at the growing issue of fentanyl in our area early last year. In April of 2022, more than 1,500 fentanyl pills were seized, according to an incident report. Now, later that year in May, more than 5,000 fentanyl pills were found. In August, 81 grams of pressed pills and another 107 grams of meth mixed with fentanyl were also seized. Deputies say they found more than 1,100 fentanyl pills in October at one Augusta home. So much being found in our area. Now, this year alone, Grovetown police made a big fentanyl bust, finding 4 pounds of fentanyl pills. And back in October, you may remember, Augusta had one of its largest fentanyl drug busts ever when investigators seized 15 pounds of fentanyl, enough to kill 3.5 million people. So what's being done to cut down on this epidemic? In August of this year, South Carolina signed the fentanyl trafficking bill into law. We're still waiting to see that drug-induced homicide bill, when it will be passed, when we could see that happen, when lawmakers return back to legislature in January. Now, in Georgia, Wesley's law is for offenses involving drug-induced homicide as well. That's in its 2nd reading in the House.
Well, thanks for that. Funding is on the way to help fight this issue. Over the next 18 years, hundreds of millions of dollars will be used to create resources for impacted communities. But how and when will that money be used here in Richmond County? Liz Owens following the paper trail for us tonight.
Thanks, Richard. Well, let's first talk about where the money is coming from. A class action lawsuit against several big pharma companies resulted in a $517 million settlement to Georgia. The Johnson & Johnson lawsuit settled with the state for $118 million. The two come after a 2021 settlement with McKinsey & Company for $13 million. Lots of money, but here's how it breaks down. With the last 2 settlements, 75% of it, that money goes to the state. The rest is split between 11 regions in Georgia. The amount we get locally is based off of a formula. The formula calculates the number of people who died from opioids in our area. It also calculated are the number of shipments for drugs used to treat opioid addiction and reversing overdoses. Part of the requirement for local governments to get the money is to create a board that oversees how that money is spent. The county also has to show it has the infrastructure or resources to treat opioid addiction. Now, according to the nonprofit KFF Health News, Augusta-Richmond County has already received more than $800,000 in settlement money over the last 2 years. I checked the city's revenue report, and they show they have received most of that $800,000+ last year. The budget also shows about $200,000 of that money was allotted to the solicitor's office, $150,000 to drug court, but we did not find where the rest is listed in the budget. Our local Department of Health has a representative on the opioid board. They tell us the board has not yet received money from the city. I asked the administrator's office about a timeline when the money would go to the board in charge of overseeing how that money's spent. We are still waiting to hear back.
Liz, thanks for following that money for us tonight. Now, if you or anyone you know is looking for help, there's a 24-hour substance abuse hotline for you. The number is right there on the screen, 1-800-662-4357, and the help there is confidential. You can also find help online at findtreatment.gov. To find a facility near you, you just enter your own zip code, and as always, you can find all this information you need on our website, wrdw.com. Riley?
Well, we are expecting a frigid night across the area, down into the 20s for most spots, and we'll likely do it a couple nights in a row. We'll have that full forecast next.
We'll deal with all the paperwork and the insurance company, so you don't have to.
Call attorney John Foy and Associates right now.
Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, Christmas is in the air tonight, and it's time to light the tree and a lot of other decorations all across North Augusta. Laura Warren joining us again live from Calhoun Park, along with hundreds of families waiting to see thousands of lights in that tree coming to life. Laura, take it away.
Hey guys, guess who just got here?
The man of the hour just walked up. We have Santa Claus live. We are getting ready to count it down out here and light the Christmas tree. Santa, this year has been particularly good for a lot of girls and boys. I've talked to a lot of them out here, and they are looking forward to a big Christmas. How are you preparing?
Well, we've got the elves working twice as hard as normal to get all of the toys made for all these good boys and girls this year.
Okay, and I promised my 6-year-old that he could ask one question. What did you want to ask Santa, buddy?
How did you find Rudolph?
How did you find Rudolph with the red nose?
Oh, Rudolph, he was Dasher's little boy.
Oh, there we go. We've been wondering for years, so no one knows. So we're going to have the mayor of North Augusta, Mr. Britton Williams. He is about to count it down, and just like that, all of the lights in North Augusta, the Christmas tree will come on, and it will officially be the Christmas season. So take it away, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, guys, are you ready? We're going to start from 5, and I want you to make so much noise that Augusta can hear. So we're going to start. Count down. Ready? 5!
And just like that, it is officially Christmas time. From our family to yours, we hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And we'll ask Santa a few more questions and bring them to you tonight, live at 11.
Looking forward to all that. What a great night. Laura Warren, Santa Claus, Mayor Britton Williams, and a great tree lighting there. And Riley, a lot of those families are dressed in layers tonight. We've got some of the coldest air in a long time.
Absolutely. Everyone's bundled up out there in Calhoun Park tonight. We got a couple layers needed if you're going to be stepping out. Here's days you can see some cold temps in store through Thursday, but warmer and wetter for the weekend.
Riley, thanks. Alabama and Georgia meet once again this weekend, and just like always, there's a lot on the line. But what's it really like down there on the field? We're going to hear from a player who knows when we move on to sports.
On TV items, buy 1, get 3 free. Hamrick's Black Friday continues.
Don't run away from your debt. Run towards your financial future.
Recent events have taught us we can't control everything.
But you can take back control of your life from your creditors.
Clay's, McElroy, Magruder, and Kitchens can help you stop repossessions, foreclosures, and garnishments.
Call us for your free consultation or find us online.
My mom can help.
My mom too.
Clay's, McElroy, Magruder, and Kitchens. Our family helping yours.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
All right, let's rewind a little bit. I know you don't want to when it comes to these two teams, but Georgia has struggled to beat Bama. Georgia got the last say, winning the national championship.
Southeast Showdown, sponsored by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Back in that first championship season in 21 and 22, center Cedric Van Pran started all 15 games. He played more snaps than any other Bulldog. That SEC loss against Bama still keeps him up at night, though. He knows what it's like to shape up against them. It's his 4th time meeting them. Anything goes.
Typically, it's hot on the field. I would say hostile. There's usually a split, but I think some of the momentum sways depending upon some of the things that happen throughout the game. So it's an understanding that these are two of the best teams in the country. And this is usually around the time when every little mistake counts. Everything is much more magnified, and all of those things come back to haunt you. So it's just trying to be the best version of yourself at all times.
Van Pran has a big challenge ahead in facing one of the best pass rushers out there in Bama's Dallas Turner, which basically means Carson Beck's throwing window just got a whole lot shorter. Tiger Woods made his first appearance ahead of competing at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. It'll be his first competitive outing. Surgery in April. He made the decision to return after caddying for his son Charlie this fall.
I was hitting golf balls a lot, trying to get Charlie ready for the event, and then post-event, I started feeling, you know what, I can probably do this, and so why not? I talked to the committee, and a committee of one was able to give me a spot.
It was also the first time we heard from him since the PGA announced the agreement with Live Golf and DP World Tour, saying he was frustrated and felt left out. It was a big motivator to join the board of directors in August.
It'll be great to see him back on the fairways there. Listen, thanks. You know, for months now, a church off Dixon Airline Road in South Augusta has been fighting back against rezoning plans for a new Also new tonight from Commission, city leaders pushing for a physical warning system for the Olive Road Bridge. The design would hang over the road. Trucks that are too big will hit a plastic bar, but at first leaders said no to the idea because if anything was damaged doing that, the city would be liable. Kansas City also uses this same kind of system to warn drivers there. For them, the cost is about $100,000. Here in Augusta, engineering says they could do it from $60,000 to $80,000. The plan will go back to the commission in about a month, but first has to go through legal and risk management to sort out those details. New in the last 15 minutes, family and friends celebrating the birthday of 4-year-old Zyke Ryans. Today, he would have been 5 years old. Sadly, he passed away Sunday, 2 weeks after shooting himself with an unsecured gun, according to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Meanwhile, 2 people are in custody in connection with that case. Ladarians and Brittany Ryans are both charged with murder and 5 counts of second-degree cruelty to children. We're going to have more on how the family is honoring his death ahead here at 11 o'clock. Meanwhile, in Aiken, the sheriff's office looking into a death after someone found a body this afternoon. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office says the remains were found on New Holland Road in the water near the boat ramp at the South Fork Edisto boat landing. Deputies say the call came in just before 2 in the afternoon. The investigation in the early stages, and we'll let you know as soon as we find out more about that case. A touching tribute today in Atlanta for former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Inside the church on the campus of Emory University, family and friends gathering with former presidents, current state leaders, and former First Ladies to mourn and reflect on her life. Seated there in the front row, her husband of 77 years, former President Jimmy Carter, in a wheelchair with a lap blanket. Tomorrow, Rosalind Carter will be laid to rest in the town where she grew up. That funeral procession arrives at Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains, Georgia, just before 11 in the morning. Look for a lot more coverage on this tomorrow.
Sunshine and cold temps for your
at 11.
Tonight, family and friends come together to remember a shooting victim on what would have been his 5th birthday.
Plus, the verdict is in and victims have spoken in Alec Murdaugh's financial crimes trial.
2 people behind bars tonight after a 4-year-old accidentally shot himself 2 weeks ago.
And on Saturday, Zyke Ryans died at the hospital from his injuries. Now Zyke's mom, Brittany Ryans, faces child cruelty charges. And Ladarian Ryans, Zyke's brother, faces a murder charge.
And tonight, instead of celebrating what would have been his 5th birthday, they gathered for a balloon release in his memory.
Sidney Hood was there, and Sidney, this is certainly not the birthday party they originally planned for Zyke.
No, he was supposed to have a Spider-Man themed party. That was his favorite superhero, but family and friends still celebrated Zyke by wearing red and blue, and then of course sent balloons up to their favorite superhero.
Happy birthday, Zyke!
As red and blue balloons fade into the dark sky, tears continue to multiply among this crowd.
Yeah, I was very happy to know that he was loved by many.
It's hard not to love a smile as big as Zyke Ryans.
He was a loving child. His personality was everything.
He was everything to everyone here.
My son, he loved everybody and they loved him. He loved this. It came out with all his favorite colors.
Red and blue for his favorite superhero.
He loved Spider-Man. Last time I said he liked Batman, but he probably switched it up. So I'm with it. You like Spider-Man? I like Spider-Man.
The plan was to have a Spider-Man birthday party.
It was just an accident. It just wasn't supposed to happen.
Which makes the pain even harder to face.
Every time I close my eyes, every time I look up, every time I see his name, he threw me. He came through me, so I'm always remembering him every day.
It's hard to forget this face.
He smiled. He just the word. That's my baby. And I love him.
That's my baby boy, and I love him. Every day I'm going to speak to him like he's still here.
I asked Zyke's dad what he'd say to Zyke right now. He said he'd tell him that he loved him.
Sidney, thanks for the update there on a sad way to remember that.
Heartbreaking that he's so young, had his whole life ahead of him. Thanks, Sidney.
To weather now as we give you a live look.
Chances by this weekend in just about 10 minutes.
Tonight, authorities are investigating a body found in Aiken County. The victim's been identified as 30-year-old Devon Treecoche. The Aiken County Coroner's Office says Treecoche had at least one gunshot wound to his body. The Sheriff's Office recovered his body near the boat ramp at the South Fork Edisto Boat Landing. That's on New Holland Road. At this time, no suspects have been named, but if you have any information, call the Sheriff's Office.
Today, a judge accepted a negotiated plea from disbarred attorney Alec Murdaugh. With the acceptance of that plea deal, Judge Clifton Newman sentencing Murdaugh to 27 years in prison. He agreed to plead guilty earlier this month. The plea agreement covered a number of charges across multiple indictments that spanned multiple counties. And in court today, Murdaugh's victims got the chance to share how his actions added to their suffering.
I really don't have words. You lied, you cheated, you stole. You betrayed me and my family and everybody else. And you did it at a cost of my mom's death, first of all.
I asked you, what kind of animal are you? Boy, I gave you my all. I would do the money you stole from me, you could have asked me for it and I would have gave it to you if that's how I felt about you and your family.
In all, Murdaugh was convicted of stealing around $12 million. He's already serving a life sentence for killing his wife Maggie and younger son Paul in June of 2021. Plans for a new biofuel facility on Dixon Air. And there might be a solution down the road for the Olive Road Bridge. For years, city traffic experts have been ruling out a solution to keep trucks from getting stuck under that low railroad overpass. But during commission today, they presented a drawing of a chain curtain that hangs above the roadway. That device would have a horizontal bar over the road with a line of chains hanging from it. The bottom of the chains would be at the same height as the bridge. They would bang on the top of any passing vehicle as a warning before a crash. The city's legal team will take a look at this before commission gets to say yes or no to that plan.
Money to help more families afford child care, to provide seniors with healthy food, and to support those to care for children in the foster system. Those are among the areas where the South Carolina Department of Social Services would like to focus state dollars next year.
Child care, we know, remains one of the top 10 barriers to workforce entry in South Carolina, especially and particularly for women. Many families here do not have access to quality, affordable daycare, and that's something that we need to change.
Among other requests, DSS also wants to boost the assistance families and group homes that care for children in the state's foster system receive to catch them up with the current cost of living.
Unsealed court documents allege Meta collected data from children's accounts. Meta is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. Attorneys from 33 states, including Georgia and South Carolina, accusing that tech giant of receiving more than 1 million reports of users younger than 13 years old on Instagram from 2019 to 2023. The lawsuit alleges Meta knowingly refused to shut down a majority of these accounts and instead collected children's personal information without parents' consent. The states are calling for the court to ban Meta from doing that and to pay stiff civil penalties.
Today, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster honored fallen service members and their families during the Tree. Today, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster honored fallen service members and their families during the Tree for the Fallen ceremony. It's a yearly tradition that started in 2019 to commemorate the sacrifices made by South Carolina's Gold Star families. Each of the stars and flags on the tree represent a fallen hero. That tree will stand in the governor's office throughout the holiday season.
Tonight, hundreds of families came out to see another Christmas season come to life in North Augusta. This was the scene earlier in Calhoun Park, right there in front of Lookaway Inn. And Laura was right out there taking it all in, even got an exclusive with Santa. What a night.
We had this question from a kid earlier. They wanted to know, how do you deal with it being so cold at the North Pole?
Well, at the North Pole, it is a little bit cooler than it is here. But we have this nice magic bubble that covers the workshop to keep it a normal temperature for us.
So,
even the North Pole has temperature control.
Bubble, yeah.
I love that.
I've been wondering because the elves' outfits are, it's like stocking situation.
Good to see him. I know he's a busy guy this time of year.
He is. He made a special visit north.
And what a beautiful evening. I know it was cold out there, but really perfect.
It felt like Christmas.
Felt like Christmas out there.
Well, there is still time to add your house to be a part of this year's Christmas Light Tour in Columbia County. Here's some video we got tonight of homes all decked out for the holiday season. And if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, the interactive map for the tour tour that'll go live this Friday.
Looks great out there. Parents, just a reminder, the Richmond County School System is holding a math and literacy workshop tomorrow. This is going to provide resources for you to help your student as they transition to new State Department of Education math standards. The school system is holding 3 sessions. The first one starting at 9:30 in the morning, then there's one at 1, and the last session starts at 5 in the afternoon. When we come back, several notable political figures along with Jimmy Carter himself